in Florida. I'm not sure what her wheels are in going there or if she's flying. Beth will be our next speaker, and she is speaking on Windows
I was thinking he was going to equate my family to the Windows. Sometimes feels that way. So they say time waits for no man. Well, I would disagree with that for an active directory administrator. Because when time is messed up in some way, time waits. It is on the head of that active directory administrator to solve the problem. Most of the time when I get asked about Windows time, I have to give a brief explanation as to what it is, and that's what I wanted to share with you. Because I found myself a couple weeks ago having to do this explanation over and over again. And so I wanted to work on showing you as to how Windows time works. So there's actually three components to Windows time. So we start with the reference clock. So here we have a clock out there in the world. Many different global clocks keep time. And normally, an organization will choose to will carry this time out to the world and have one representative of this time in-house. This is sitting in the organization. This is the reference time. The importance of this is not only for Windows clients, but also non-Windows clients to have a point of reference that keeps everyone on track. Then, of course, we have the client sitting out here. Now, what's important for the client is every time it logs in, it's checking that time. It's checking it so that it knows not only that you get to your meeting on time, but also that you can authenticate. Because an issue that happens, and when the AD administrator gets called, is if this client has something called a time skew, meaning that it's off from that reference clock that's internal to the organization. At 5 minutes, that client can't log in. At 5 minutes, that's the server, somebody's calling you and saying, why are we having a problem with time? And when you think, as an Active Directory administrator, you do have a basic understanding of what this is, and are we having trouble with time? Because what's sitting here in the middle is Active Directory. This is the Windows authoritative source for time. But again, we have a non-Windows world, so we've got to connect these two together. Now, a little bit of Active Directory administration. Every domain, that's what this represents, has computers that control that domain. They're called domain controllers. There's always one special DC that's sitting in that domain that has a special role. And part of that role, there's many things that are tied to this special role, but one of those is to say, here's my time source. So it's connected to that reference clock that's within the organization. Then from there are other domain controllers, because you never, ever want to have just one domain controller. You have one domain controller, and that domain controller goes down, guess what? You have to consider which that does happen, not in any organization I've been part of, but my husband contacted me recently and said, yeah, how do you do a restore of Active Directory? And I just laughed. I wish I had more time to help him, but they did end up reinstalling and reconfiguring on the client. So again, very important to have more than one. But again, this client is going out, they could take in one of those for authentication. So what happens if these two are not communicating? Again, because there's time. So it's very important for an Active Directory administrator to make sure that they've got this configured correctly. Again, you have your primary one that's connected to your source. But if you had this connected there and that connected there, well, that's not making very efficient stuff. So what Microsoft has done is it says a domain hierarchy involved. So that this system is you set it up so that it references. The great thing about this is, again, everything is within like a tolerable time skew, but it's also scalable. Because in the organizations I work with, I've never worked for an organization that just had one domain. I just think that would be awesome to have how easy would that be. But no, there's always multiple domains. There's other domains that are taking on. So again, it's important to make sure that these domains are also connected. And as I mentioned before, each domain is made up of a special machine. One that we designate as special. It's a role that can change. If that DC goes down, we can change it. But there's always one. then there's also the other supporting, remember? Don't have just one. So then we set this up, and all these systems here follow a domain hierarchy. So that these are configured to one's here, and this one's up to that. So the joy of this is that you can follow a standard. Because most of the time when you talk about domain controllers, they all should be set up the same. You want to set it and forget it. Really, active directory administration for the most part on this level is really basic. You have one system that's configured to that reference block, giving you that source. And then everything else follows the domain hierarchy. Again, you have one source. So it helps with scalability. So Albert Einstein said that the only reason for time is that so that many things don't happen at the same time, or everything happens at its own time. I say in Active Directory and in Windows time, we have that time so that things can happen at the same time. Now I'll open it up for any questions that you might have.
So the domain controllers is the lower part of that hierarchy, the special ones. Those are actually pointing to the parent
Yes.
this time, so they're not actually.
Yes.
So it's only one
So all
special
the
one.
commands are the same. So even though this one's special, it has the same command as you set it once just to verify that hey, it's set the domain hierarchy. The only special ones we felt within this whole structure is this top.
So then, when you have a time problem, what usually goes on?
What normally happens is someone didn't configure the time correctly. We recently had a problem where we had people that were going out to the reference time, but what had happened is the firewall blocked it. So then what happened is there was a dispute. And that time dispute. So you want to make sure that the reports are open to allow that.
It might be a little bit out of scope for the talk, but what's the mechanism for determining if the main one goes down, who picks up the slack as like the new crown champion?
Excellent question. So that is something that the AD administrator has to be aware of. We always know who our special, we call it the forest group. The special machinery forest group, we know that this is a special configuration that we have to move, and it's very easy to do. In essence, too, you do have a little bit of time. Time to do is just maybe seconds, a day. So again, I mentioned 5 minutes. So as long as you're monitoring time in some way to make sure that the time speed doesn't get too great, you have time to recover on that before